Codemasters have done a superb job with the F1 games, making them a staple sporting classic. And this year they're back in force with F1 2012, which is said to bring a whole host of new features and improvements to keep hungry F1 fans and general racing enthusiasts playing for months.
The idea behind 12 is to really appreciate the fact that not a lot of people have got that much time to put into Formula 1 games these days, or play through entire career mode, or maybe they want to be doing that at the weekends, but in the evening when they come home late night after work, they've got 20-30 minutes to pour into the game. Maybe they want to do something a little different. That was certainly the feedback that we're getting from people, in terms of they don't want us to dumb the game down or turn it into an arcade game, but they do want to be able to dip into that Formula 1 experience. So I think it was important for us to try and deliver that this year.
And delivering it they are, with the simple introductions to the game like the new Young Driver Test, an extended tutorial for the novice driver. But once you get past this and get the hang of the game, it opens up to be one of the most in-depth and addictive racing games you can own.
We've got something called Champions Mode, whereby you as a driver are competing against each of the 6 world champions that are on the grid this year. So you're up against the likes of Schumacher and Raikkonen, who's back in the sport this year, in order to try and get through to the final, and you've got to defeat all those drivers on the grid around Austin, Texas. It really kind of brings in the idea of playing scenarios. So for example, it's the final few laps of a race, you're chasing down Raikkonen around Spa, you're on fresh tyres, he's on old tyres. Can you work your way through the traffic, catch him and pass him before the race ends? It makes it a little more interesting, things that perhaps games did years ago and gone out of favour in recent years.
With the rich array of new features in the game, it really is trying to cater for a new audience, and still gives Formula 1 fans something that feels like a big improvement over the 2011 edition, whilst at the same time trying to keep a fair playing field between the hardcore gamer and the casual player.
What I want to do is steer away from the whole idea of the game being simulation or the game being arcade. And what we've always said is, if we can get those underlying driving mechanics right, so that the hardcore guys, the guys that are pouring over Formula 1 all the time or just want to play PC sims, if they can appreciate what we're doing there, what we're trying to do is apply ever more intelligent driving aids, so that the average casual guy who maybe hasn't followed Formula 1 for a long time can feel as though he's confident enough to jump in and be competitive. The guys that put a lot of time in and turn all the driving aids off, they should have a slight advantage, but there's always that worry that they might spin out, or they haven't got traction control on, or they need to deal with tyre wear a little better. What we're trying to do is better manage that, so that it is one driving model and one experience for everybody. So as you're learning, you turn these things off rather than jumping into a completely different mode, and it's always a nightmare for a developer to have completely different game types to deal with anyway.
Overall, the game has some great racing elements for passive racing fans and huge F1 fanatics. With superb handling and brilliantly accessible new game modes, amazing visuals and dynamic weather, it sets a precedent not only for Codemasters, but for any racing titles that follow.
Well, I think the fans of the game, what's important for us is, because we're having to update it every year, and of course we're not going to add wacky things like guns and the ability to fly around the track and all these kind of things that would really differentiate it from the previous products. I think the important thing for us is to always showcase to people that every year, even if the features are the same and they're not in the 2012 game because they've expanded it massively, the underlying elements that have always been in the F1 game, we're bringing those up several levels every single year. And I think that's what I'd like people to notice. For example, the first time that you play the demo, or the first time that you unwrap the game and you play it, I want people to appreciate the fact that we put a lot of time into the control pad handling, the fact that the physics have changed, it's easier to drive, the graphics look brighter, the AI cars are more intelligent, things that are always in the games, but how we're trying to always bring that forward.